thumbs up? Okay. All right. Please, go. Please, Joy. Go. Gone. Yeah, we're trusting her a second time. You should have seen Christmas Eve. Hello, everybody online. Christmas Eve, Joy also rang the gong. When she was done, it dismounted from the ceiling, and it rolled out the door and across the parking lot. No, I'm kidding, so don't.
Try better.
Some of you were like, no way.
Tone it down. Okay.
Heavenly Father, Mother God, Creator of love, Creator of light, peace and joy, we ask that you anoint this sacred service, that you anoint this beautiful ceremony. We are here, two or more gathered, with a primary commitment of bidding farewell to the past, welcoming in an entirely new inspiration, a new level of consciousness with which we can launch into a new year, the best year of our lives. We ask for this not only for ourselves, but we ask that we have the power, the connection, all the power that Christ is that we are, to extend this light, this connection, this prayer to all beings throughout the world, all beings throughout all time. All people with challenges of every kind, world leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, moms trying to raise children, fathers, single dads, etc. People who have struggled with loss of loved ones. We're here. Just open your heart and feel the love of God, because we will not choose to ascend or hold ourselves in high vibration without consideration of you, our brothers and sisters that are feeling anything but joy. We are here with you to bridge you home. And so it is. Stay centered for just a moment longer while we absorb, integrate, listen to our sacred reading for today.
From the book of Proverbs. Blessed is the one who connects with the wisdom of the Divine Mother, or Holy Spirit, which gives us understanding. For the gain from her is more valuable than all the precious gems and metals in the world. And nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her and rest in her. And those who trust in her will be fully blessed. And so it is.
So it is. The vibes in our spiritual center here, the Global Center for Christ Consciousness, the vibes to me are just magical and they're beautiful. I've been here, used to be exclusively on tour for decades, and then I was asked to come here and sit into this position. And it's an amazing thing because it's a metaphor of all of our lives, and that is we can choose to co-create a new life with God. Some people just try to force their way through life or try to even improve their life. But there's a difference between trying to make your life happen, improving it, versus co-creating it with God. So if anybody sees anything they like about this center, just as a metaphor, about this center, how did you, and I get this a lot from churches around the world, centers around the world, how do you guys get this vibe? Well, it's not something sold in a box. Listen, you have to choose this. If you say, you know what, I'm going to commit my new year, I'm going to commit to being a very loving, patient person. I think it's fantastic. Wouldn't you agree? But watch what you ask for. You're going to be the goddess of love and patience from now on. Well, that means you're holding yourself to that standard, the global center for Christ consciousness. If I tried to open a center with that name 40 years ago, it wouldn't have worked very well because, first of all, I was just born. Yeah. See, you're not supposed to laugh. You're going, that sounds right. So my age must be there. But you see, so we do this because we live this. We hold ourselves to a standard. I'm not claiming that you would agree with everything we think, say, do. I'm just talking about in general. Do you want your life to be higher? You've got to be willing to live at a higher standard. You don't just wish it. You live it. And of course there's lots of people. First of all, there's lots of human beings that are just asleep. They're just not awake, and that's fine. Many people, religious or not, they're just asleep on this planet. But even people waking up are just in the illusion of waking up. They're saying it. They're reading a book. They go to a workshop. They don't apply. They don't absorb. They don't live it. And that's fine because that's a natural stage. But oh my God, to enter the stage of living it, it's not just like, oh, what an honorable thing to do. It's a beautiful but challenging thing to do. The good news, though, is by the fruits. You will see the fruits of your commitment. I highly recommend it to anybody. People typically make New Year's resolutions at this time of the year. And I just think, what comes to my mind when people say that, I go, why? Since statistics say that 90-something% New Year's resolutions are not kept, why do it? You're just putting yourself in danger. Because when you don't keep it, do you realize you're going to feel worse about yourself? Oh, I failed again. Now, the person who fails New Year's resolutions 10 times, by the time you've done it 10 times and failed, you're going numb now. You already know you're not going to keep it, and you've just gone numb. And I find that to be sad. So you make a New Year's resolution, and you're setting a tone. You're setting here's where I'm going. When you don't do it, you're going to feel guilty and ashamed that you're not doing it. Now, on that note, the ego is a funny thing because the human ego is this part of us that doesn't want to wake up. In the spiritual interpretation of the word ego, I'm not using it in the standard psychology, Freudian psychology sense, but in the spiritual sense, the ego it's not an evil thing. It's a choice to not wake up. It's a choice to believe that we're no longer holy beings. That's all it is. It's the liar. Jesus referred to Satan as the liar, which is kind of cool because it means we have liars within ourselves. We have denial in ourselves. It doesn't have to be personified as a guy with a pitchfork and all that. It's in the mind. It's in the mind, and it's a part that doesn't want to wake up. So that part of us that doesn't want us to wake up would rather you not create a New Year's resolution. Why? Because you might keep it, you improve your life, that lessens the power of the ego, right? It would prefer that you don't make New Year's resolution. But if you're going to make one, it gets on board with you. Why? Because it knows you're not going to make it through. So it's going to be there to guilt and shame you. But it doesn't even want you to accomplish it, but yet it'll make you feel bad for not accomplishing it. So it's called a lose-lose scenario. So if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, be willing to forgive yourself if you slip or if you can't make it, first of all. That disempowers any chance of the ego going after you. But if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, it should be one, you try to make one you can believe in. One that you can wrap your mind around. One that you can, I can get behind this. I'm pretty sure I can pull this off. And there's something to be said about incremental steps, like a little adjustment. I'm going to quit smoking completely. Never again will I even look at a cigarette. It's a big stretch for some. Or do you do incremental, like I'm going to cut back to this, and eventually none? Well, that's fine. Incremental has its place because it allows us to say, too much too soon, I can't pull it off, and we fail. So incremental is good. A Course in Miracles teaches that when you try to make incremental changes, the ego recalibrates and keeps up with you. You guys are all like, you know, like, oh yeah, okay, that's what happened. It recalibrates. So what you can do is you make a military move and you go for it. And the ego's, wait, where'd you go? Hey, I'm way over here. By the time you catch up to me, I'll be way over there. Like you don't give it room to recalibrate. And it's brilliant. But you know what? Some people, especially if they're weak-willed or don't believe in themselves, will not think that they could ever make that big of a change in their life. So, to each his own. But we're saying, I want a New Year's resolution. Why am I not making it through? You guys know, if I asked you, why do people fail New Year's? It's overwhelming. They don't believe that in themselves, right? You would be able to intuit. What reasons are there that people fail at New Year's resolutions? You see what I mean? Yes. So let's pretend I asked that. Think of an answer. Any answer that comes to you. Why do people fail at New Year's resolutions? And then let it come to you just quietly for a moment. And if anybody can share an example. Yes?
I think it's too hard. I think it's too hard.
You think it's going to be too hard?
Not making it a priority.
Great one. Not making it a priority.
Not really wanting to change.
Not even really wanting to change. Wow.
Self-doubt.
Yes? Self-doubt? Lacking the addiction, not taking the action.
The drive is external, it's not internal. It's for another purpose than the drive.
The drive is external oriented, not internal oriented, which is a huge one, yes?
If I don't do it, it just reinforces the story that I can't do it. So.
Right. So I might want to reinforce my stories and stay stuck or broke, right? Now what you guys just did is you answered, you took a moment, and what we just did, besides getting great answers, is it's called search find. I asked you a question, you let it come to you, and you answered. That's what I do every Sunday, and people are like, this is magical. That's all we have to do. When your children say, you wouldn't understand why I'm upset, if you're in your head, you won't understand. Just ask, if I were this child, why would I be upset right now? Now my head goes, why are you upset? It's no big deal. You missed your show. So what? It's just a show. That's not a channeled answer. That's your head. So you learn to say, if I were that person, or if I was that group, if I was that tribe, if I was that nation, whatever it happens to be, then all of a sudden something magical happens and we open our hearts and souls and we're able to channel a greater answer, right? So believe it and start practicing that. Now that said, that's not all, because you have to, and I'm off over here for just a second, but you have to be willing not just to channel an answer, but if you say, well, I'm tuning into you, let me give you the answer I get for you. That's fine. That's great. Good psychic. On the other hand, what if your psychic skills, intuitive skills start to go, wait, first, I'm going to open up to the highest, to God. Second, I'm going to be as open and clear as a channel as possible, not let my opinions jump in the way. Third, what do you need right now? See, I'm not telling you what you need. I'm asking. But I don't ask, although at Sundays I say, what do you guys want me to talk about? Your mind can get to a place where you're just always open. And people can go, oh, that sounds magical. No, actually it isn't. It's very magical, but painful at times. To walk around this world, which is an entirely screwed up planet, to walk around this planet like this, totally open. It's constant nails on chalkboard on this planet. You have political oppositions. You have people in pain. You have social services that don't always do what's right for a child or a mom or whatever. You have so much craziness, poverty in a wealthy planet. You have so much craziness. You can come up with the cure of cancer and you have an odd of being knocked off, assassinated. It's like, wait, what? And you walk around open and you feel this all the time. Now, I'm not I'm exaggerating slightly, only slightly make a point. Some of us on this planet are that open that it screws us up. You start to become dissociated, broken psychologically, and it's because you're brilliant. And this world doesn't like brilliance. So it beats the heck out of you. And I'm sorry for that. What can you do differently? Shut everything down, put a wall around yourself and protect you. That doesn't feel right either. How can you tell a sensitive person to do that? That won't even resonate with them. Thank God. Balance. Balance. So our New Year's resolution, typically resolutions are external, which is what one person said. And they really need to be about changing consciousness. And if you are, just as one example, you can change financial, emotional, relationships, all kinds of things you might want to change. Change consciousness, and a lot of that's going to shift anyway. Commit to yourself. Marry God and yourself. You know, become the bride to the I Am presence. Now, that doesn't mean I'm saying be a nun, be a monk. I'm saying priority-wise. And what that means in part is get out of the way. This world has a popular saying. Everyone has their cross to bear. See, we've all heard of it. What a great affirmation to walk around planet Earth. You know, hey, how you doing? Well, you know, everybody's got their cross to bear, which means life sucks and then you die. That's kind of horrible. But it's true, because a cross looks like this, right? If I stand like this and I tell you, here, I'm standing in the mantra body mudra of a cross, it doesn't make sense. When I say this is the body mandala, right? Body mudra, body mandala of a cross, it makes sense, doesn't it? Now, why? Because there's a horizontal line. What does that mean? If the horizontal line is gone, you have a chance of connecting between God and all the way to your own root chakra. God can bring you money, health, financial wealth, can bring you vitality, emotional balance, psychological clarity, no blocks. But there's a problem. Everyone has their cross to bear, which means symbolically, somewhere along this vertical line, there's a cross to bear. Some block you have. Some people call it karma, patterns, belief systems, but everybody's got their cross to bear. And there's a couple of trippy things about that. Everybody's got their cross to bear. So you know what we need to do? Heal to where we have no crosses to bear. But listen, this is interesting. Everybody's got their cross to bear. That cross is used by your ego to crucify you. It makes you judge and hate yourself, and you know what I mean? It doesn't let you off the hook. It puts all this pressure, which is making your life even worse. But interestingly, you come to peace. Listen, you don't try to defeat your cross, which is logical. If I say you've got a cross to bear and yours is this and yours is this, you might think, I've got to go to work on this, man. I'm going to defeat that. Then you're not at peace with it. It's very interesting. Resist not evil includes hate it, and there's an it. So what do? Ignore it? No. Sit with it and resist it not. Sit with it and love the hell out of it. So what is your cross to bear? Now, if we now said, everybody write down your worst pattern, shame, guilt thing, you know, first, a lot of you wouldn't want to because it's that raw. But if you did write it, and I said, now let's bring it up and we'll share it with the group. You're going to start getting triggered. Why would you get triggered? Because I'm saying this. We have reactions to it. Be willing to write things you want to let go of today. Anything that comes to mind. Let Spirit help you and write it. And then put it to the fire and let it go. It's symbolic. The fire burns it away symbolically, right? And so everybody's got their cross to bear. There's something interesting about that. If I swear to you, if God appeared to you right now and you said, and God said, I'm going to grant you one wish. And you said, this is a no-brainer, Lord. My cross is this. I wrote it down. I want you to eliminate this from my life. That does sound reasonable, doesn't it? Wouldn't you wish that for everybody on the planet, for their cross to be lifted? Absolutely. But here's the answer God would tell you. I will do that if you want. In 10 seconds, it's going to be gone. But in this 10 seconds, I'm asking you a favor. While you're on earth, I want you to help people. Well, I'll do that. You can't, because if you don't have a cross to bear, you won't be here. So technically, your cross can become a toolkit. Oh, well, that's okay. That feels pretty good. But you can't use that for being a heroin addict. Well, the only reason I'm a heroin addict is because it's God's way of keeping me here to work on people. You can't be a psychopath and say, listen, this isn't really me. I'm typically a really cool guy. It's just that God wants me to be a psychopath so that I have a cross to bear so I can deal with lesser beings like yourselves. That doesn't fly. You have to be honest. You have to see that it's a cross to bear. You have to see that it's not a healthy thing. You have to own it. And yet, give it to God. Let God determine how long you'll keep it. Don't use it like an excuse to be dysfunctional. So instead, all of a sudden, you realize you're coming to peace. If you don't, your cross to bear is your karma and so on. When people pass away, you've heard of earthbound souls. Why are they earthbound? Because their cross is too intense. They can't let go of so the cross is an anchor that locks them to the earth plane. Is that good or is that sad? Sad. Come on, man. Your cross, it's too much for you. Let it go and you'll lift up. But your cross also shows up when it's time to consider whether you need to reincarnate. So Buddha says people have to reincarnate because of desire. And everybody, including many Buddhists, interpret that to mean, desire. Like it's all about human desire. It's not what he's talking about. He was talking in the biggest sense. The reason you incarnated is not because of carnal desire. The reason you incarnated is because you have the desire to come here and finish your stuff. And it's an irresistible desire, by the way. It's not like you actually are on the other side doing the math going, I think I'm done. It is an irresistible pull that you're not in control of. You either have issues or you don't. And if you do, there's already a program that says you're automatically going to get recycled because there's something. That thing is your cross to bear. Come to peace with it. Fighting it won't help. Giving into it, equally so, won't help. You might even just keep magnifying it. So recognizing that we have a cross to bear and considering putting that to the fire, considering, and I don't mean your cross is lifted completely. Even if you said, this issue of mine, I'm going to let burn, but don't be attached thinking what you're letting go of is your attachment to the cross. Don't think that means, God, this is weird. It was December 31st. On January 1st, I woke up and all my issues were gone. Because now you're going to have more issues to work with when that didn't work out so well. Now you got new issues. Anger at God for not taking it, or angry at us because the candles didn't work. Whatever. So to me, this is astounding, really, how all this really works. And I look at it and think, we need to have a shift in consciousness. And imagine that you're getting it so clearly. You're learning and getting everything so clearly, you're awake. Now, I don't mean you're awake and you're ascending the next second. I mean, you're here, but you're awake. You don't feed into things as much. You see through the games. You don't just try to push one politic or another. You realize, I'm not into either one. You know why? Because they hate each other. And I don't want to hear anybody tell me what to do when they hate each other. Because they're not clear if they're hateful. And if they're hateful, I'm not interested. Right? Everybody should put in ballots next voting day and say, I refuse to vote as long as you hate somebody else. And see what happens. You see, that's not this world. The world run by the ego. The world that is under a veil of fear-based world that's running here, lives off of that. Because if the world lets go of the cross that it's bearing, we ascend. So we're living in a parasitic relationship, technically. We are living parasitic, meaning we're fear-based, and we created a world that contains that fear. There will be a day, and it's not that far off. There will be a day where the lion lies with the lamb, where the earth will not have to fear what man does to it anymore, where she won't have to blow up volcanoes to have an outburst. You know, the earth's version of menopause. Hey, I channeled that. So it's not my fault. No, I mean it, because menopause it's women's holding so much for so long, and it blows. What they think is chemical imbalance, they think of it as hormonal. No, this is people that are holding things it's too much for anybody to hold. And it's got to give. It's got to go somewhere. So it causes these reactions in the body. But to realize this is no game, and you can't blame it on hormones. This is human beings that are trying to contain stuff that's so huge in terms of pressure, fear, anger, holding your thoughts, holding your feelings, holding hurts and so forth. Don't speak them too loud. Don't, whatever. Don't dance. Don't be too happy. That's this world constantly. And men find ways, and I don't just mean like from a sexist standpoint, but the male side of all of us finds ways to cope by hardening around it. The feminine side is going, I can't. I'm not hard like that. Instead, I feel these things. So what do you do if you feel them but you can't express them? They build and they blow. So, and I mean no harm to any gender, but menopause means pausing on men. It means too much of the male world has hurt me. I'm talking about male politics, male government, male science, male academics, male everything. And I'm not like anti-male. I'm saying even a man needs to pause on men. We need to stop and say, and that's the prayer of the divine feminine, to here I am. Not, I got it figured out. Here I am. What a scary world. If all of a sudden, all of the men and women said, the male side of them that says, I've got it figured out, if everybody goes, I don't know. You know what comes after I don't know? But God does. All of a sudden, we're living in a state of surrender. Now we don't even need street speed signs because we all drive at a safe speed for the moment. Everything's working collectively for the greater good. Like we're all, the law, as it says in the Bible, the law is written in your heart. No longer on tablets and no longer in books and legal documents. How could I kill, steal, and do all these things that I'm told in the commandments don't do? It's not even in my mind. I can't. I can look for it and it's not there. And that's where we're all going. Ascension isn't a means of flying away from an earth so you're safe. You can't ascend until you are safe in the earth. But you can't be safe in a crazy place. You can when you get safe in your belief systems, your mind. To be able to live in the world, not be of the world, you're safer. Fear the world and it's already got you. See through it. I just choose to be more awake now. I see, the sales pitches of politicians. And I'm not against politicians. I don't care. They don't even exist. They're a hologram like everything else here. But anyway. Yeah. Which party are you with? The non-existent one. Oh, okay. Wouldn't that be interesting? There's an interesting conversation. So we've got the proverbial cross. It's your cross to bear. When you were told that in all our years, well, everybody's got their cross to bear. You know what that sounds like? Well, tough. Everybody's got the victimized cross that God gives you, by the way, they said, And it's like, well, that doesn't feel like an enlightened world or a loving God. How did I get this cross? Well, they're just handed out when you're leaving heaven, into earth. Here's your cross. It's like Monty Python's Life of Brian. First to the left, one cross each. That's the crucifixion scene. To make a crucifixion scene hilarious took brilliance. And some people can't handle that. But, when they're on the cross, tapping their crucified feet, always look on the bright side of life. right? I mean, and the churches are rearing up. This is irreverent. This is sacrilegious. And the pythons are like, yeah, isn't it funny? And it isn't that everything is funny because there's gross, tragic things, but everything is funny when you see it for what it really is. If any harm is done to another person, it's gross and it's tragic. It's ego-based, it's fear-based, and it binds people again to another cross, karma, that they will be crucified by. But the day will come when we won't say, well, thank God that their karma is going to come back to them. Well, then yours is coming back to you too. And we're all just stuck. What did Gandhi say? If an eye for an eye, if everybody keeps applying an eye for an eye, before you know it, everybody's blind. It's a great metaphor. So you can't live by wishing other people's karma does, because then yours is. Wish for, pray for, affirm, bless everyone to be free of this world. George Harrison's song, give me love, give me peace on earth, give me life, give me light, and keep me free from birth. When I heard that, I thought, as a kid, I'm like, free from birth? He doesn't like babies? I was a kid. But he means from rebirth. Keep me free from having to reincarnate, the cycle of karma. He's saying, help me surrender my cross to bear. So you can't throw your cross down, and you can't just keep it held up. It's giving it to God. Now, all of a sudden, that curse is a blessing, because I swear, God's going to say, what I'm going to have you do is borrow it, not take it on. Borrow it. It's going to keep you grounded to the 3D world. And while you're there, I've got some great ideas. While you're stuck to the earth, seemingly, no, you're borrowing the cross. I have songs that you're going to write that nobody else would have gotten. I have poems you're going to write. I have children that I want you to bring through, or whatever it is. It's really beautiful if you think about it. It's a whole different way of seeing all of this. Is all that making sense? Yeah. So to me, I'm not stuck anymore. Not to my cross, not to my karma. I'm free. But that cross is, every chakra has some crosses. And as I grow and awaken, more of them are set aside. But I'm still going to be borrowing at least one of them because it keeps me in my 3D body. I don't use it as an excuse. It's just, I see it for what it is. Yeah, that thing is there a little bit. Yeah, sometimes I do get afraid about issues like this, or I do get triggered here and there. What if that's not a flaw, a fault? What if it's a cross you're borrowing to stay here and help other people? Now, if you still say, yeah, but I'm still open to the cross being released. What if the way you'll release that cross is by processing through the topics the cross represents? If your cross is patience, what if the cross is going to have you working on that? It's kind of cool, because then you're going to organically dissipate it. Wishing it's gone, cursing that you have it, hating that you have it, relax. And there are people that say, yeah, but my cross, it's different. My cross is addiction. Hey, listen, I'll tell you something. Your cross might be addiction, drugs, let's say. Almost every person that's ever been addicted to drugs in any form, I don't care if they're called organic or not, any kind of drug, usually they're very sensitive souls, and they can't handle the sensitivity level. But nobody tells them that. See, in school, they're usually kicked around, which is going to just add to their need to have some drugs, to numb themselves from feeling what they feel when people treat them this way. But it's amazing. Drug addicts are actually mystics in the making. They're sensitive, but it's not explained to them, and it should be explained. If somebody says, yeah, I have this tendency to want this particular drug or that, to be able to say to them, oh, you're an artist. They're going to go, I've never heard that one before. Yeah, I've heard I'm a coke addict or I'm a crack addict, but nobody's ever said you're an artist in the making. But they are. They need numbed or stimulate. They need something to distract, because I'm saying, when we started a while ago, it's to be open It sounds so beautiful, but in this world, there's a lot you pick up besides the songs of the angels. You know, you go in a grocery store and you come out twitching, and what I think I'm having an aneurysm, and you go into some hospital somewhere and, yes, we think it's an aneurysm, but it must be a unique kind because, there's kinds that are going around, and there's an airborne aneurysm now. Because they can't, you know why they can't tell you the truth? Because they don't know. That's why it's called practicing medicine, because they've never perfected it. They're still practicing. Lawyers are practicing law. Get it? We just keep practicing. Wow. So it's not mastery. One day, in the near future, there will be no more names that they have specialists. I'm a eye, ear, nose, or whatever. I'm a proctologist. There won't be, one day, not too far off, it's just healers. And the healer might go this way, that way, prefer this or that. It won't be segmented like this. And it's already moving in that direction. I mean, in 20 years ago, this guy did this guy did, and it was kind of like that. I mean, it's getting to the point now you go to a chiropractor and he's like dancing around your table before his adjustment, and he's smudging your aura. I know, I'm in Sedona, but I'm saying that this is going to happen more. Births aren't just in stirrups in an operating room, right? You have birth centers, but it's going to keep going more in that direction. Doctors will consider more taking your hand and saying, what's going on? Instead of standing behind a tablet. And again, I'm not putting down medicine. I don't care. There's a place for everything while we still believe we need something. So while we still think we need medicines, they're going to dole out the medicines. While we still think that they need to be overpriced for us, that's what we're going to create. We got to take responsibility. But healers will be the word, will be the name. That's what it was like in Lemuria, where frequency brought everything a person needed. But the healer had to know how to sense frequency. And today, you're shunned for that. You'll lose your license if you go to a licensing board in medicine and say, well, my guides were telling me they probably didn't need this medicine anymore. I mean, it's not going to go well. This world is messed up, but it's getting weirder and weirder. Why? Because it's losing power. So they have to speak louder and more aggressively, more threateningly, because they're losing power. You need a doctor that delivers babies, but a healer that delivers babies that says, I'm in conversation right now with the baby. The baby is going to be great at this. It's going to go this way, that way. And, it's telling me its name. Isn't that fantastic? That's the direction this is going. It doesn't look like it, but that's the whole point. It's got to not look like it so that it's cloaked, because the ego wants to cloak it so we don't see it. But this is all a divine plan, and God's plan, God's will be done. This is what we want. But like a New Year's resolution, we keep sabotaging it. And we will sabotage it until we wholly want it. No more resistance. It's beautiful if you think about it. What do you want to do with your life? Instead of, here's the academic way, it's the only way, do it or you're a failure. You see? It's like, what would you like to do? To be able to say to a child, what would you like to do? Well, my dad said, in family business, and I'm supposed to. No, I didn't ask you that. I asked, what would you like to do? My God, that's amazing. Those are living angels, by the way, that ask you those questions. What would you like to do? I can remember, a couple in my life where families doing and saying, and one example, in our family we had some tarot reading aunt of mine. And, everybody thought of her as crazy. First of all, I don't like the stigma that would be put on her that she had to live with, that she's just a nut. But it's really weird, because when people had things going bad in their life, they didn't mind calling her. Hey, listen, do I got the evil eye going, and all of a sudden we're talking to Aunt Crazy. But when she says at a family function, I'm sensing something. Can I do a reading? Oh, no, I don't believe in that. And everybody has to shame you so that they feel nice and reputable. It's just, I saw through that. It's silly. But I remember that aunt sitting there. Family members are like, oh, God, Michael. And her doing a reading. I was probably 12-ish. And I remember her, doing the cards, everything. And all of a sudden she looks at me. You are going to make a difference in a lot of people's lives. Family members, I told you that's all garbage. You had to listen to that. You see, what happened in my soul was, really? Like she could see me. And I wasn't like all awake, but it was still like a hope. And she could see me. She's one against 99 other relatives, and she's the one that was the most sane, the one that was the most clear. Healers that surrender to God channeling through them are going to be made the great healers. And they'll be able to see things and know things. People are still waiting for them to oh God, these TV shows, digging for lost treasure. And I don't know how they get the grants to do it. They've been in season on the air for 20 years, and they still haven't produced anything. If I stood up here and never said anything of any good, nobody would want to show up. But these shows go on because they're feeding the illusion. I'm not waiting. Do you need them to confess that there's UFOs? I hope you don't need it. Well, I just wish the government would. Why? Don't you know they exist? Well, no, but I would know if the government told me I'm allowed to believe it. You have bigger issues than the whole UFO thing, right? Don't wait. The woman holding all this stuff and having more challenging and sometimes quite tragic periods of menopause is because of holding in what we know for too long. And the same goes for everything else, guys. Don't wait for the government to give you permission. Don't wait for your husband or wife to give. Don't wait for your parents to give you permission. I just wish they would accept me. You're 89 years old. You're waiting for one of the psychics that channel dead people to say, your mother's here and she accepts you now. Oh, now I can live. Don't wait for your husband or wife to get you. To thine own divine self be true. And it's nothing shy of ridiculous to wait for people to accept you. Besides, when people sense that you know what you're about, they accept you sooner than if you also contribute to the, valuelessness of yourself. So you step up and own it, and people go, people, confident. I'll finish in just a sec. I went to apply for a job once, and once in my life, and I wanted to be like a teacher's assistant. I liked kids, and I thought this is easy, no brainer. And I was young, 18 or 20 or something, 20ish, and I remember I had to go and apply. I got to grow up, man. I got to be an adult and go and try this out. I'm nervous and shy as I was and all. So I go there, and it was just so horrible. The lady, the principal of the school. So, how much college education? None, and I didn't even like high school. Okay. Do you type? Not at all. Do you know how to work? This machine? No. I mean, I said no to everything, and I'm thinking, and I'm embarrassed because of how, horribly this is going. And she looks at me, she's so patient. And she's like, well, you don't have any skills whatsoever, no experience. No. And she goes, I swear, she said, we have out-of-work teachers applying for this job. They have all the skills and all the history, all the background. Far more even label-wise. No. And she said, I have one question for you. Can you tell me why I want to hire you so badly above everybody else? And I go, I can't tell you. And she says, who is Michael? And I answered, and she said, I'm hiring you. I said, no, you can't. Because, sensitive, I go, I can't live with teachers losing the job that they need. They have the skills that I don't. You have to hire them. I would not be able to live with myself taking a job from somebody who it is their life, but also they're making a living. And I just knew I'll just try something, something else. But you'll be taken care of. But my answer when she said, who is Michael? Whatever I said, and I don't have a clue, whatever I said, she was like, that's it. Something about you. I got to hire you. When you know who you are, the whole world will comply. They will fight you. They will try to shut you down. Yes. But that's your test. So I'm closing with this. Your cross to bear, it's a very beautiful thing in the sense that as you're processing through your cross, you're integrating and you're actually growing in consciousness. It's not an anti-you. It becomes a tool you're using to refine yourself. And that's mastery. Okay? Can you warm it a little wherever you guys are in the back that are in charge of that? Thanks. Is that all making sense? Yes. So in closing, what have you heard before we do our burning bowl? What have you heard that's made the most sense or that is the most valuable thing we covered? Yes, dear. You're welcome. I'm sorry, sweetie. You're welcome. It was everything I said about menopause, and it's not a women thing and it's not just a thing. This is a consciousness thing. Menopause is a phase of consciousness. It's going through your dark night of the soul, biological version of the dark night of the soul. It's big, heavy stuff. It's a spiritual initiation. And to be brushed off or treated the way people are, it's, when my mom went through menopause, they did temporarily hospitalize her. They thought she was crazy and she thought she was dying and she was seeing beings and it was but we weren't even allowed to know it was happening. We were conveniently, kept out of the house and stay at a friend's house. We didn't even know it was happening because it's so put light on how dysfunctional her marriage was. And nobody wanted to know that. So it was your mom's this, your mom's, labels when we did ask. Oh, she's just not feeling well. And wow. So it's this and any other, even if you just have a minor fear happening today, bring it to the light, bring it forward. I don't mean, now remember this. Being hurt is tragic, sad, and worthy of healing. Taking your hurts out on others, you've taken it too far. See, that's no excuse. You can't say, well, I'm wounded. No. Wounded deserves healing. Taking your wounds out on others, not allowed. And that's where boundaries have to be set. A couple more people, if you don't mind. What did you get most out of today? Yes.
Yes, it's necessary for me to have a cross to bear because it allows me to go within, learn more of myself, and see what I don't want to pursue versus what I want to grow by.
Nice. You can see more distinctly. There's it's not about just what you don't want to do, but what you want to grow by is the wording you used, right? Nice. In the back, yes?
Yeah, my cross within it are the nuggets that I need to learn to transform.
Right.
And also by extension, the gifts and how I can be of service to others.
Right.
From them.
That your cross to bear can even introduce you to ways you can help. And I mean, this isn't like wishful thinking. I'm telling you that we can and we will. We are the hands, eyes, ears, etc. of God. I mean, so we're here to do something. Hide or be damaged by your cross, we've missed a huge opportunity. Then you got to reincarnate by your cross. Another one or two, yes.
Two things stuck out is, when we write something down tonight, the wanting it to be different, it reminds me of Conversations with God, where he said, if you're in the state of wanting, the universe will grant you the wanting.
Right.
So
Right.
it reminded me of that.
Yes. And don't get me wrong on that. The burning bowl, write things you want to release, but don't hate them. Don't fear them. Gently give them to God with an attitude of, oh my God, this thing used to bother me. And you're letting it burn because you're letting go of the pressure that you were permitting it. Power you were giving it at one time. One more, yes.
That the more truly you know and are yourself, the more powerful and magical you become.
The more you know who you really are, the more magical you become. The more centered, the more, it's powerful. The world's looking for, the world's in a panic all the time, even when it seems like it's not. And it's looking for anybody. Do you know does anybody here know who they are? It's an interesting thing. Are there any leaders, anybody we can trust? I remember on a plane once, there was a threat on the plane. And it wasn't a good situation. And the flight attendant is walking down the aisles whispering, does anybody here know martial arts? And I'm going, now, why would you ask such? And she goes, well, we have a situation, and I'm not a violent person or anything like that. I'll do what I can, to help. I didn't say if I knew or didn't know. I just said I'll help. But the point is, the world's asking that. Does anybody know who can help? And when there's a room full of hurtful people, someone can enter and bring a different consciousness. It can be an insane asylum that you can walk in, and those people that seem so out of it, they'll sense there's light. Some will run from it, some will run to it. But the whole world, each person has a window open. They might have doors shut, but there's a window open where they're whispering, does anybody have anything to offer? And people not in their power just say, no, I'm just in as much trouble as you. And that's the whispering they do to each other. I'm as bad as you are. It's not a conscious thing, but that's how the vibe that everybody puts out. Somebody's got to say, how can I help? Oh, I got something going on. How can I help? Energetically. Start every day. I'm going to end with this. It's not just about the old life, the new life. If I had to say to you a few things to do or change to bring about a new life, please start and end your day with communion with God. Prayer, communion, meditation, anything you want to call it. Connect with God. The Alpha and Omega. So start and end your day with some kind of communion. If I had to say one other thing, commit more. This is very important. Commit more. Don't read a book with half your attention. Don't read it then. Why waste a child of God's time? When you have a relationship, hi honey, love you too. Stop. Sometimes look in their eyes and say it. And sometimes when you give a kiss, not with your mouth, just touching. Concentrate and download love from your soul through that person. Just download it through. When you have clients and you say, okay, we're done for today, thank you. Have a consciousness. Commit to everything you do a lot more. Commit to your New Year's resolution, and it would be different. But commit. Whatever you're doing, commit to it more. Step into it more. Be more of a god, a goddess. Be more of a present person. Be more present with your kids too. Whatever you're going to do, step into it more. And a third one I'm going to say, charity, service, generosity. Oh, the good that does. Shocks the heck out of people. Seriously. And don't just read any old material. Why not read the best? Read something that really goes, whoa. Not, next page. Like, you're a holy child of God, man. This is like Jesus never said, I think I'll study mediocrity. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Commit to yourself a bit more. But, oh man, the benefit of being of service. I had a car light come on. I went to a station, a place in town here, and great people. I was so blessed and amazed. I love to see people that love what they do and all that. But I went to this place. Long story short, I went in and I'm standing there ready to pay for my bill for the car. A gal comes in and she's got a guitar. And she has a certain look to her, but she you could just tell sadness or this or that kind of thing going on. And she brings in her giant guitar case, sets it down, and it's like she's talking to the guy, hey Joe, and I'm like, do you come here often? And she's like, I'm here all the time. My car is constantly breaking down, and it's really taxing on her. And she's got her guitar case. And I can guarantee you it's not because she's working in an LA sound studio where she's making $1 million an hour. I could just see all that. So I sit in prayer and let her pay her, thing first. She gets out her credit card to pay her 100 or 200 or whatever it was, latest bill on her car. And I said, hold it. I took the card and handed it back to her. And I said, I'll pay for her car. She's going, no, this can't be happening. And I'm going, yes, I need, I'm going to, no. And it took her a while. And then it's like, who are you? Michael. That's all I ever say. No last names, no, please come and see us over at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness. Hey, I'm not kissing babies to bring people in. Michael, do you live here? Yes, I do. And just telling people you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve not to have yet another bill for another. And she's telling me, I'm getting my child, I'm taking my child to do something special for New Year's. See? And things like that, man. It's like, how do you close your heart to that? Now, I have $100 to give. I'm not wealthy, but I have $100. Here you go. Now, if you don't have that, you don't say, well, I can't. Yes, you can. You can say, do you have any CDs that you've recorded? Buy a CD. You can say, are you performing anywhere? And go listen to her. I don't even drink, and I've gone a couple times, just a couple, to bars where some musicians, some of you, playing, and I go and listen. Why? Because I want you to have people sitting there. One of you, really well, a great reputable musician, and you're playing at some club here, and it was me and a turnip. I mean, that was all that was there. It was like two of us in the whole audience. But, I've got to. I've got to. And I stayed a few hours. And I'm like, I have a very busy schedule. I don't care. Right now, you need someone in this audience, and I'm going to be there. So guys, anything you can do. Ramp up. Be more God, but ramp up your commitment to yourself, your life. Don't halfway write a book, a song, or whatever. Do your best, man. Commit to yourself. Commit to your wardrobe. Commit to your health. Commit to smiling more. But really get the deservability. God, self, and others. Be of service. Bring more and more help, and don't give me any stories about, I can't, I'm too this, I can't afford. There's always a way. There's always a way. All right? All right. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to go into the ceremony of the burning bowl. Does anybody here not have the paper for the burning bowl? Raise a hand. We all got them? Great. Take a pen. You can borrow from the person next to you. Listen, even though you know what you want to write, I'm also going to ask you to even take 30 seconds, quiet, and ask the mother, the Divine Mother, if she has any added insights. Don't scribble out the one you wrote. You can write more than one thing, but don't write 58 things, because then you won't commit to one as fully when 58 of them are on your mind. Make everything more committed. Center, ask for that. And we'll use music, if you don't mind, Daniel. Make a greater commitment, guys. When you sit with a psychic, don't sit there like, okay, let's just see what happens. Please, don't even go to them unless, try to commit more. I'm going to ask God to help me and guide me. And I'm going to ask this reader to be a channel. I am going to listen. I'm going to take notes, and I'll do my best to apply what I'm told. Commit more to it. The channels, it'll ramp up their energy and clarity to have people that are committed, but it'll also ramp you up. It really will. When I do readings for myself or anybody, I ask the Divine Mother to be the one that chooses the question, the answer, the interpretation, the application, all of it. I leave no stone unturned. Give me the question, the answer, give me the card or whatever it happens to be, and the interpretation, and give me all the way down to the application. Guide this whole thing. Commit, and your readings are clearer. Your parenting improves, everything gets ramped up. And that means commit to what you're writing down and letting go of. Don't make this like a shallow New Year's resolution that you don't keep. Please try it. Try a little more. I'm ready to do this. Take the music up a little bit more. The ushers are going to come around and they're going to help us, like lead the rows, only like a row at a time, guys. When you release the paper, all you do you have an extra one? You ready? Okay, so I'm going to have you watch. Hold on. Here's how you do it. You'll put the paper to the flame. Don't panic. It'll poof. You put the paper to the flame. You can hold it for a second, but once it's lit, it's going to go quickly. So watch carefully. And it's gone. Okay? So I'm glad we demonstrate that first. Okay? The group on this side is going to go to this candle. You're going to come out this way and go back to your seat if you're in the front. But the back rows, please, you'll come out this way and go back to your row that way. And you want them this side, they know which way to go and all? Okay. Right, you'll come. Okay. So you guys are going to do the front row first. Let's begin. If you're online, God bless you and thank you for being with us. Same thing. Put your intention. Put your sincerity and intention into the process. If you're in the front row, you can go straight back to your seat. You don't have to go into a row or anything. Okay. Give it to God. This is an annual metaphor of being born again. And it can be a minor process, or it can be absolutely phenomenal, life-changing. If you're done and you're sitting, please hold space and support to the other folks that are walking up. The two side sections are almost done, and then we'll do the center section and then be finished. 90% done now. Truly believe. Truly believe. Set your intention that you're ready for this. How does everyone feel with that? Good. Yeah, it's so beautiful. And I pray that you understand how important it is. More God, but commit to your life. Commit more. Be there when you kiss another person. Be there when you're parenting. Do your best to just be present. You know, appreciate yourself. Be there when you get a massage. Don't just get one, be with it. Every muscle that gets opened up. Oh. You know, I mean, I know it can sound a little weird at times, but in a good way. But oohs and ahs, like it's just, yeah, to more fully be there. It's so easy to become numb and look at the most beautiful sights and not even notice them for that matter, but just childlike. Ooh, what's that? You know, wow, a little more of that awe factor to life. It's all a hologram. So what you don't need to do is go, wow, Michael said to get more invested in the 3D hologram. No, here's the beautiful part. Every ooh and ah is actually ooh and ah about who your soul really is. I don't care about the rainbow is gorgeous. Definitely stop, smell the roses. Oh my God, so fragrant. But it's just tip of the iceberg of who you are. So it's a metaphor, when you, wow, that's so beautiful, and you created it. See, we've separated so much from God, we actually say, God created the roses. No, God in you created the roses. We created this place. Heaven or hell, it's our creation. And we have to return to Eden. And it comes from blessing and forgiving this place. Blessing and forgiving all the misperceptions we put on it. You know, so seeing that woman come in with her guitar case, you have to understand the way my mind works.